Intro to Anatomy. I know you wonder why we've been through all this other stuff, and you can kind of understand why you study it, but anatomy, you sometimes have a hard time understanding why have I got to learn it. First off, we need to know how the body works. Second off, we need to especially understand about the circulatory system, the nervous system, the skeletal system, and the muscular system, because we're going to be doing massages that has a distinctive effect on people, especially their nervous system, their muscular system, and their skeletal system. The circulatory system, our hair, skin, and nails are all fed directly by the bloodstream. So whenever something gets wrong with our circulatory system, we'll notice that our hair, nails, or skin are not healthy. Oftentimes with the circulatory system, one of the first places that we realize there's something going on is by the color of their nail bed. Also, people that have certain circulatory disorders cannot be massaged. So you understand a little better now why we have to do anatomy? An overview of human anatomy and physiology will enable us to understand how the body functions as a whole, recognize changes from the norm, determine a scientific basis for the proper application of our services and our products, perform professional makeup application that might otherwise be difficult without a knowledge of the facial bones and the muscle structure. We're actually going to study before we go into facial makeup, and actually before we go into hair cutting too, we're going to study the facial bones so that we can make every face look like it's oval, every nose look like it's the perfect shape, every eye the perfect shape and size, lips the same way. We can provide shampoo, scalp manipulations, haircut, and style designs aided by our knowledge of the head contours, the bones, and the muscle structure. Up until now, you've not thought much about head shapes, I'm sure. But head shapes, especially for somebody that wears short hair, has a lot to do with how that hairstyle looks. Create a style based on our knowledge of facial bones and muscle structure that will enhance your client's facial structure. Recognize the facial bones, nerves, and muscle structure when performing a facial. Perform manipulations involving the face, hands, arms, shoulders, neck, feet, and lower legs safely and efficiently or effectively as a result of our understanding of the bones, muscles, nerves, and circulation. As a professional, we will seldom hear these medical terminology once we study it today. But an understanding of anatomy and physiology will help us become more proficient at performing professional services. We should also have a working knowledge of histology. So the first thing we're going to do is go over some definitions. Anatomy is the study of the structures of the human body that can be seen with the naked eye, what they're made up of, the science of the structure of the organisms or of their parts. Physiology, on the other hand, is the study of the functions and activities performed by our body structures. Histology is the study of the science of the minute structures of organic tissues or microscopic anatomy. Hair falls under that domain. Cells. We talked a little bit about cells when we were in bacteriology, didn't we? Any discussion of anatomy and physiology must begin with the cells, which are the basic units of all living things, whether it be bacteria, plants, animals, or human beings. Without cells, life does not exist. As a basic functional unit, the cell is responsible for carrying on life processes. There are trillions of cells in the human body, and they vary widely in size, shape, and purpose. Let's take one, for example, that we can understand easily how it works, and that's a skin cell. Now, we go out there and do a haircut or whatever, and we cut our cells. What does that look like 4 hours after we've cut it? What's beginning to happen to that wound? It's scabbing over. What's causing that to occur? New skin cells growing. They're repairing themselves. They're fixing to form some more skin, and in a week We don't even know it happened unless it went really deeply past the skin into the deeper skin layers. So that's how cells work and how important they are to us, is that they do reproduce and repair themselves. Wouldn't that be something if they didn't? As many scrapes and scratches and bangs as we get when we're children. So the first thing we're going to study is the basic construction of the cell. The cells of all living things are composed of a substance called protoplasm. Protoplasm itself is a colorless, jelly-like substance in which food elements such as protein, fats, carbohydrates, mineral salts, and water are present. You can visualize the protoplasm of a cell as being similar to the white of a raw egg. In addition to protoplasm, most cells also include a nucleus. The nucleus is a dense active protoplasm found in the center of the cell. It plays an important part in cell reproduction and metabolism. You can visualize the nucleus as the yolk of an egg. Cytoplasm is all the protoplasm of a cell except that which is in the nucleus. It's the watery fluid that contains food material necessary for growth, reproduction, and self-repair of the cell. Cell membrane encloses the protoplasm and permits soluble substances to enter and leave the cell. Y'all remember how they grow and reproduce? You want to tell me? Want me to tell you? They divide. That's how they reproduce. How do they grow and survive? Pretty much like we do. They get their food from the outside environment. They've got to have water and air and all that to come in and leave. Carbon dioxide to leave, just like we do. Cells have the ability to reproduce, thus providing new cells for the growth and replacement of worn or injured ones. Most cells reproduce by dividing into two identical cells called daughter cells. That reminds you of bacteriology again? Isn't that what they did? This reproduction process is known as mitosis. As long as conditions are favorable, the cell will grow and reproduce. So when we cut ourselves, how do we make conditions favorable for that cell to repair and reproduce? We're going to clean it up? Right. We know that bacteria like to live in dark, damp, dirty places, but our skin will not reproduce in that kind of atmosphere, will it? We're going to wash it off, cleanse it, maybe put a little antiseptic on it. We're going to bandage it. Why are we bandaging it? What are we covering it up from? Keep the bacteria from getting in it. Favorable conditions include an adequate supply of food, oxygen, and water, suitable temperatures, and the ability to eliminate waste products. If conditions become unfavorable, the cell will become impaired or may be destroyed. Unfavorable conditions include toxins or poisons and disease. And that's what would happen if we just kept on cutting hair and went through our day all day without doing anything to our little cut. It would become infected, which is, getting poisons or toxins in it. Cell metabolism. Metabolism is a chemical process that takes place in living organisms, whereby the cells are nourished and carry out their activities. Metabolism has two phases. Anabolism is constructive metabolism. It is the process of building up larger molecules from smaller ones. During this process, the body stores water, food, and oxygen for the time when these substances will be needed for cell growth and repair. Catabolism is the phase of metabolism that involves the breaking down of complex compounds within the cells into smaller ones. This process releases energy that is stored by special molecules to be used in muscle contractions, body secretions, or heat production. Anabolism and catabolism are carried out simultaneously and continually within the cells. Next thing we want to discuss are tissues. I want you to make some special notes about tissues, organs, and systems. Those are the things that's mixed up most frequently on tests. We get confused about which one is which. A tissue is a collection of similar cells that perform a particular function. Each tissue has a specific function and can be recognized by its characteristic appearance. Body tissues are composed of 60 to 90% water, along with various other substances. We have 5 types of tissue in the human body. The first is connective tissue, which serves to support, protect, and bind together other tissues of the body. Examples of connective tissues are bones, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, fascia, fat, and adipose tissue. Epithelia tissue is a protective covering on body surfaces. Skin, mucous membrane, and the lining of the heart, digestive and respiratory organs, and glands are all examples of epithelia tissue. Liquid tissue such as blood and lymph carries food, waste products, and hormones through the body. Muscular tissue contracts and moves the various parts of the body. And nerve tissue carries messages to and from the brain and controls and coordinates all bodily functions. Nerve tissue is composed of special cells known as neurons, which make up the nerves, the brain, and the spinal cord. Our organs then are groups of tissues designed to perform a specific function. Let's talk about our different organs and what they control. The brain controls the whole body. The eyes control vision. The heart circulates the blood. Kidneys excrete water and waste products. Lungs supply oxygen to the blood. You notice it didn't say anything about that lungs also help cleanse the blood, and it helps get rid of carbon dioxide. Liver removes toxic products of digestion. The skin forms an external protective covering of the body, and the stomach and intestines digest food. Then we want to talk about our systems. It's an amazing thing. When I studied cosmetology, our systems, we had only 9. Now as you study, there's 10. And I want to give you something on the board to hopefully help you remember and keep up with what they are. I'm going to introduce you to somebody. This is Dr. M. Screens. And I want you to write his name down like that, because that is our system. All you got to do is remember him, Dr. M. Screens. What does D stand for?
Digestive.
Digestive. R. Respiratory. M. Muscular. S. Skeletal. C. C. Circulatory. R. I've already got respiratory. Reproductive. E. Endocrine. E. Excretory. N. Nervous. S. I got you on that one. I know it's the skin. Actually, that should be integumentary. But I could not figure out any way. I learned on Dr. M's screen, and I could not figure out any way to put integumentary in there without giving him 2 initials, and I didn't want to do that. So that's the 10th one that was added. The reason I'm telling you that is sometimes tests are not kept up to date, whether it be mine or the state board exam. So if you get a question, and usually they're multiple choice, and it says how many systems are there in the human body, and 10 is not a choice but 9 is, choose 9. If 10 is a choice, always take it, because skin is considered to be one of the systems now. So let's go over each one of our systems and decide what it does, or its function. Circulatory system controls the steady circulation of the blood through the body by means of the heart and the blood vessels. Our massage manipulation have a distinctive effect on blood circulation. So if we've got somebody that's having a lot of scalp problems and hair problems, then their hair may not be being fed sufficiently. So can massage help that? Yes, it can certainly help that. Digestive system changes food into nutrients and waste, consists of the mouth, the stomach, intestines, salivary and gastric glands, also other organs. We are what we eat. Whatever goes into your body has an effect on your hair, skin, and nails. So we want to always remember that when a client comes to us dealing with certain types of problems. And as we go into the study of the skin and the hair and their diseases and disorders, we'll understand more how that works. The endocrine system affects the growth, development, sexual activities, and health of the entire body. The endocrine system consists of specialized glands. Excretory purifies the body by the elimination of waste matter. Consists of the kidneys, the liver, the skin, intestines, and the lungs. Integumentary system serves as a protective covering and helps in regulating the body's temperature. It consists of skin, accessory organs such as oil and sweat glands, sensory receptors, hair, and nails. Muscular covers, shapes, and supports the skeletal tissue. Also contracts and moves various parts of the body, and it consists of the muscles. The nervous system, and this is important, controls and coordinates all other systems, makes them work harmoniously and efficiently, and consists of the brain, the spinal cord, and nerves. The reproductive system is responsible for processes by which plants and animals produce offspring. Respiratory enables breathing, supplying the body with oxygen and eliminating carbon dioxide as a waste product. The respiratory system consists of lungs and air passages. The skeletal system is the physical foundation of the body, consisting of the bones and the movable and immovable joints. All right, do we have questions? No questions? Are we ready?